What's up, chefs, foodies, and students? Welcome to Everybody Knows. My name is Anders. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Today we're talking about vinegar. This ingredient originally comes from some of the first human civilizations, and likely somewhere in the Middle East, like Babylon. It is currently well known in cuisines from all over the world, but if you're investigating origins and cultures, be sure to research the time period as well, since many foods are brought to cultures from elsewhere or developed over time. The fundamentals of vinegar lie in one compound called acetic acid. This is the compound that creates the acidity or sour sensation when you taste vinegar, but it is also the same compound that you smell that kind of burns your nose a little bit, especially if you're ever making wing sauce or something where it's even being heated up and it can sometimes actually start to burn your sinuses. It's acetic acid. Acetic acid is one of, if not the only, really volatile acids in the food world. It's one of the few acids that you can actually smell as opposed to just taste, because normally acids are interpreted only by our tongue as sour. So when you smell a lemon, you don't get the same kind of volatility of acids in the lemon, you just smell the aroma. Vinegar is almost entirely characterized by this volatile acid. Different types of vinegar come from all over the world based on an ingredient that has been taken through a fermentation process in which alcohol has been produced, and then beyond that, another type of bacteria breaks down that alcohol into acetic acid. And so we see a lot of alcohol-based vinegar, that wherever that culture gets its ingredients to make alcohol with, that then progresses into the type of vinegar that they typically use. So let's say in the UK, they have a lot of malt vinegar because they brew a lot of beer. In parts of Europe, you'll see a lot of wine vinegar because they brew a lot of wine or ferment a lot of wine. In Asia, you start to see things like rice vinegar because they make rice wine. And so we see a lot of the types of vinegar dictated by the kinds of alcoholic beverages that a culture or region will be producing. However, that does not mean that that is the limitation of vinegar. Vinegar can be made from any source of sugar in a food ingredient it can be taken all the way through the alcohol phase completely. And so if you wanted to make a grapefruit vinegar, you could add a bunch of sugar with grapefruit, with water, let it ferment through an alcoholic phase and into a vinegar phase, and you would have a grapefruit vinegar without having some kind of grapefruit-based alcohol product. I have here two examples, one of which is one of the most common, which is an apple cider vinegar. Again, coming from usually an alcoholic apple cider product that has been taken through all the way through its fermentation. And when we're looking at a product like this, it depends on what we want out of it. There are pasteurized or filtered or further processed vinegars. This one is totally raw and unfiltered, which means that we will actually see some sediment and other solids inside of the liquid. That's totally normal. And we might also see little wisps of either little amounts of yeast or bacteria sort of hanging around. That's also normal. And otherwise, we want our vinegar relatively clear. We want to be able to smell the characteristics of the ingredient. And so as we get the acetic acid, we also get a strong punch of apple juice in particular for this product. So it almost smells a little bit like a cooked apple. So that's exactly what we want from an apple cider vinegar. We also have a pretty decent balsamic vinegar here as well. Thank you to our donors. And this has a much more deep, dark aroma to it as it has been aged in charred balsamic wood. And so we get this really dark color. As you get into expensive and higher quality vinegars, you're going to see that they become thicker naturally, just for loss of moisture as it ages. Always look and make sure that what you're buying is either labeled from its area that it's being designated from. In this case, it's from Modena, and it has that certification on it, and that it's imported from that location. You might see things that have been thickened with other ingredients, and those are technically glazes. That's not the same thing. So you can add either starches or gums to a liquid to thicken it, and it will appear similar to an aged balsamic. It will not behave the same way. So what we're looking for and what we're smelling for should be indicative of the ingredients that it is made with. And so if it's balsamic, it should smell like a nice dark balsamic. If it's apple cider vinegar, it should smell like a nice apple cider vinegar. It should have the smell of the ingredient as well as a good balance of that acetic acid. Let's have a quick look at our universal aroma wheel. In this version of the aroma wheel, we are looking in the chemical category, and within chemical, we see that vinegar has its own subcategory. If we zoom in, we will see a few different common varieties of vinegar that are all identified by the type of base ingredient that is then turned into the vinegar. I think this is fine. It is nestled sort of between the alcohol and the plastic categories. I don't know that this is a great transition, but it's hard to transition really into plastic from anything. And it lies within chemical as it is a pure substance that you would not find on its own in nature as an ingredient. It is refined, it is sort of concentrated, and so this is where it lies right now. I could see this category maybe even disappearing in terms of all of these subcategories and just having vinegar on its own because of the nature of flavoring a vinegar, and or because you can start with so many different things and end up with a vinegar of that flavor. So I don't know if it's worth having these subcategories. That's something I would be interested to hear from you about. Would you include subcategories for vinegar? Would you leave it alone? I don't know if either of those is logically more sound than another. And then in terms of where it lies, again, I think it's fine to be near alcohol since they are both pretty volatile substances, and is fine being near the plastic rubber section. As you get to white vinegar, it's pretty much just pure acetic acid aroma. And so to be right next to something that is chemically pretty pure makes relative sense to me. Vinegar is a very polarizing ingredient. You have people like the Taoists who really enjoy vinegar, and some folks who do not enjoy vinegar. So just be aware as you use it that there might be some people who you are cooking for that don't appreciate vinegar as much. You can make some reductions of different types of vinegar to put into various sauces. They add a really pleasant tang to a lot of spreads and sauces. You also lose a little bit of the acidic bite when you cook it, as acids tend to denature with heat. You can do a quick pickling method that uses vinegar with essentially 50-50 water, vinegar, a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar. You bring that to a boil, cut off the heat, pour it over your ingredient that you want to quick pickle, and then you let it sit for approximately 30 minutes and it's ready to go. Let's have a look in the flavor Bible. Okay, so there are many varieties of vinegar that have their own sections in the flavor Bible. So to just give you a smattering of a variety of ingredients that could pair well with vinegars, we have fruits, herbs, oils, salad dressing, salads, dessert fruits, figs, olives, onions, peppers, strawberries, tomatoes, that's with balsamic, rice, salad dressing, stir fries, oils, oranges, pistachios, pine nuts, Dijon mustard, fruit, ginger, we're into rice vinegar now, cabbage, Chinese cuisine, soy sauce, sushi, vegetables, sherry vinegar goes with cheese, garlic, grains, oils, salads, Spanish cuisine, white wine vinegar going with Dijon, different marinades, cauliflower, shallots, soups, stews, sauces, wine vinegar in general, marinades, salad dressings, And there you have it. All kinds of things can go with vinegar. And that about wraps it up. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about vinegar as you cook or eat, as well as the words that we use to describe it, which at this point are not very many. You could say acetic acid, you could say chemical, you could say harsh, maybe? Have you used this ingredient successfully or in a way that you think, yeah, that was so good, I want to know what it was? Do you like this aroma? Why or why not? And finally, do you agree or disagree with what I've shared here today? Let me know in the comments and I would love to read your answers. I hope this video made sense and got you thinking about the aroma of vinegar. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help me get an ingredient to feature in a video, please send me an email or private message. If you would like to join the food aroma nerdery, feel free to subscribe and you'll see all my latest vids. And if you would like a large poster or digital copy of the aroma wheel that I have built, take a look in the description for links. Thanks so much. Bye.